It is 2022. We are firmly in January, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about the games that I'm really excited for. So, without further ado, let's dive into Doom's top 5 games that I'm anticipating in 2022. Let's get into it.
Do you not see that doom stands before you?
So, starting at number 1 on January 28th is Pokemon Legend of Arceus. Pokemon Legend of Arceus takes us into the past of the Sinnoh region when it was known as the Hisui region. During this time in the Pokemon history, Pokemon and humans did not live together in harmony. In fact, they lived very much separate. So the main character plays as a new recruit to the Survey Corps of the Galaxy Expedition Team and is tasked with completing the Hisui region's first Pokédex. This game is an open world action RPG game, and that goes into why I'm really excited about this game. This game is kind of a new way for us Pokemon fans to experience Pokemon in general. We've kind of sort of had open worlds in other games, but this seems to be a true open world game and is adding new mechanics that we've never really seen in a Pokemon game, such as true action RPG, yeah, Jesus, mechanics. It is interesting nonetheless to see these mechanics represented in a Pokemon game. I'm really excited for this game. This game is coming out on January 28th for the Switch, obviously. And if you want to see me play some of this game live or just want to see what it looks like, I will be playing it day one. And leading up to the game on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/doom.gaming, I will also be doing some art and stuff, as well as on this channel. I will be putting up a video on more what we know about Legends of Arceus so far, to give people kind of a guide on what to expect. If you're interested in the game and don't really know what's different about it or anything like that, look out for that. But with that being said, let's get into number 2 on our list.
A little boy wants to pretend he's a grown-up. A precious little boy.
Number 2 is Dying Light Stay Human, which is coming out for everything Switch, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, both last gen and current gens. So, like the first game, Dying Light Stay Human is a zombie game, but the zombies in Dying Light take a page out of I Am Legend, if you've ever seen that movie or read the book. If not, the zombies are weak to the sunlight, and so they hoard themselves inside buildings, and those that can't get inside buildings during the daytime are kind of more docile and less numerous than when they are at night, which creates a very interesting gameplay loop that I don't think any other zombie game has replicated. And what makes Dying Light so different is that during the daytime you have a lot of exploration and you're kind of trying to count the daylight hours because it's easier to kill zombies, there's not as many of them, and it's just easier to get around. At nighttime, however, not only do more zombies come out and they become more aggressive, but mutant zombies come out, which are much more dangerous, which turns night play into something of a stealth-based game, plus like a run and chase kind of mechanics where you're trying to duck and dive into these safe zones, as well as kind of like a push your luck kind of circumstance, as you are rewarded for doing more stuff at night than you are during the daytime because of how much more dangerous it is in the game. So that was all things that were going on in the first game, and the second game seems to be taking those things to the next level. However, the big difference between the first game and the second game, in the second game, it seems they are going full on Mass Effect and adding branching narratives, which goes into why I'm excited about this game. Other than off the strength of the first game and the fact that it's probably in my top 3 favorite zombie games of all time, other than the fact that I love zombie games as a whole, zombie movies, all that stuff, the medium as a whole, the stories it allows people to tell, and the thing that I'm like, other than those two things, the thing that I'm most excited about is the branching narratives. If you guys should know anything about me, it's that I love good stories and story-based games. It's what draws me to games in general, is to see where their stories go. And the idea that not only will your choices have consequences and ramifications on the story as a whole, but you will see those consequences and ramifications as you play through the game, as they impact not just the characters around you, but the factions and the city itself. As when you make decisions that aids one faction, their control over the city becomes much more firm, and their beliefs become much more predominant in the city itself. And I love that concept. I love branching narratives, and I like being able to feel like as a player I have a direct impact on the game that I'm playing. But that's Dying Light Stay Human, which is coming out on February 4th, really like almost like a week or two right after Pokemon. So we have a really good lineup from January to February, some really good games coming out. So with that being said, let's go into number 3.
Hold on, what game are we playing here?
We're playing Bunkers and Badasses, baby!
So, number 3, which is coming out on March 25th, is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is unfortunately not coming out for the Switch, but it is coming out for everything else. The PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So, Tiny Tina Wonderland, I feel like started as the DLC. It's pretty much a spin-off of the Borderlands game, but is a spiritual successor to Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep DLC for Borderlands 2, which is a very Borderlands thing. It is a game within a game, kind of within a game. So the concept of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is that the characters in Borderlands, Tiny Tina and her friends, are playing a game called Bunkers and Badasses, which is a D&D-esque game. And you, as the players, are playing their characters within their game. So you're playing a game about characters playing a game. And if you are somebody that likes D&D, if you're somebody that likes Borderlands, if you're somebody that likes fantasy, I don't really feel like I need to say more than that. But there are a lot of new features that they're adding to Tiny Tina's Wonderland that isn't really a part of the Borderlands experience, including an overworld, including the ability to multi-class into different classes to create like a hodgepodge of like all the other classes in the game, including a deeper customization than we've ever seen, as well as being able to make your own character instead of characters being standardized. But the reason that I'm excited for this is for some of the reasons that I've already stated. I personally love Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPGs. I love fantasy. I consume so many fantasy novels and shows and all that. And I love Borderlands. I've played 1, 2, and 3. I might not have played every single DLC, but I've played every single one of those games. So when I tell you that I am excruciatingly excited for this game, I mean that wholeheartedly. I want to play this game so bad. It's one of the games that I'm looking forward to the most, for sure. So if you are as excited for this game as I am, let me show you something. So this is the Bunkers and Badasses box. I guess it's not the game, the actual video game, but it is the tabletop game that Tiny Tina is running her game on. So I bought this, or kickstarted it, and it comes with the GM screen, the rule book, some minis, and all that kind of stuff. So I will be running a 4-part mini campaign in March to get us hyped up for the game itself when it launches. And I will also be playing Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which they just released as kind of like a remaster of the DLC. It's like a solo game thing. So I'll be playing that in March as well. So if you're interested in some Tiny Tina hype, if you're interested in seeing how the actual like tabletop RPG plays, in case you might want to get the tabletop RPG, hit me up in March. Again, hit me up on twitch.tv/doombotgaming. I'll also be posting the episodes on here. All right, let's go on to number 4. Okay, so number 4 on our list. So number 4 on our list is coming out, I think the last time we heard it was sometime in March, but it is the Marvel Midnight Suns. So I don't know if you can tell by any of the things around me or my name, but I'm a huge comic book Marvel fan. Comic books I was kind of raised on as a kid, and Marvel has been my bread and butter ever since I was like a child. So the other thing is I love tactical RPGs. Fire Emblem is one of my all-time favorite games. So that entire genre is something that I've been really excited for, and the idea that they're coming out with a Marvel tactical RPG from the developers that made XCOM is beyond exciting. Beyond exciting for me. So the story of the game centers around Lilith, the mother of demons, who Hydra has for some reason reawakened. The main character is known as the Hunter, who is a character that was created specifically for this game. They are going to be customizable. They are going to be the player insert character, who through them you're going to be allowed to talk with other characters through the player hub called the Abbey, and there is 12 different heroes in the game that you're going to be able to recruit into your Midnight Suns team so that you can help them defeat Lilith, because as the Hunter, you are Lilith's child and the only one who has the ability to slay her forever. So it is really, really cool that they're not just taking Marvel characters or the Avengers and doing something that we've seen at this point a billion times in the MCU or in other games, but they're taking the supernatural element of the Marvel universe and taking kind of characters that we know and love with some we don't, like magic, and rolling them over and having them really showcase that Marvel is more than just sci-fi and aliens, that it also has this supernatural element. Personally, this is literally in my top 5 most anticipated games. So if you are really excited for this game as I am, stay tuned. I will definitely be posting further information about this game as I look into it myself. But with that being said, let's go on to number 5. So, number 5 is to be announced as far as date goes, and the only thing we know about number 5 is that it is a sequel to Breath of the Wild. We don't have the subtitle or the subheading, whatever you call it. Most of us just call it Breath of the Wild 2, but it's not officially called that. We don't know much about the story. We don't know much about the new mechanics, but I am hyped off on this game on the strength of the first game. So what we know about this game so far, based on the only teaser that has been released for it, which is one, we know that the game is going to feature some collection of sky islands, as the land of the first game, Hyrule, has kind of been lifted off the ground and is now levitating. We see that Link loses his arm in the trailer, and we know that he gets a prosthetic one. We don't know really if that is the source of his new abilities or if there's some other reason that he gets new abilities. I think the prosthetic arm is what gives him access to new abilities. We're also not sure if he's going to have access to his old abilities. So those are pretty much all we know about the game, though. We don't know if there's going to be new bosses. Well, there probably is going to be new bosses. There's a lot we can assume because it's a Legend of Zelda game. But at the same time, again, on the hype of the first game, on the strength of the first game, I'm hyped for this one. I am ready to be re-immersed into the Legend of Zelda game. I'm ready to go back into that world. I'm ready to go back and explore and just be like in it, man. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this game doesn't get pushed to 2023, but if it does, it is what it is. But we'll probably hear more about this game around E3, so stay tuned for E3 coverage if you're into that kind of thing. If you want to help me, please, the algorithm gods, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell icon to stay up to date on when these videos come out. If you would like to see me play any of these games or just see me in a general sense off of YouTube, you can follow me over at twitch.tv. Wow, I just spaced on that. twitch.tv/Doombot Gaming. I do a lot of different stuff over there. I play games, I draw, I read stories. We read comic books over there. If you're interested in like having somebody read you comics or be up to date on comics and that kind of thing, we do that over there. We also have mental health days if you need people to talk to. The Discord link is also down below if you want to talk or be a part of the community in that way. But with that being said, I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. This has been Doom's Top 5 Most Anticipated Games of 2022, at least according to Doom. Peace.